All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we're going to get into a price prediction for AMC stock. By the end of this week, we're going to look at the option activity. We are also going to look at the economic calendar, what kind of data we have coming out, and what my expectations are, how this could affect the markets, and where we are currently at in this great shift of capital. This is something I have talked about for a little while now. It's where all of this money on the sidelines, money in treasuries, money in big tech names, make its way into interest rate sensitive names. Something like an AMC, right? Companies that can benefit from refinancing, that have debt, that have been in a worse spot as the Fed has been raising rates. Apple and Microsoft, big tech names, have not been, just because they're not interest rate sensitive. They're not raising capital. Most of them are not aggressively investing back into their business the same, percentage wise that small caps have to. Like a small cap, in order to survive and grow, has to invest a lot. Apple, Google, Microsoft, they're investing a lot of money. But on a percentage basis of total revenues, of those kind of ways to look at it, there's plenty of them. They're not fighting to survive and thrive, essentially. They don't have to work as hard. So we're going to go ahead and get into what my expectations are this week for AMC stock. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if this is your first time to the channel. You've been living under a rock. The YouTube algorithm has not blessed you yet to come across this channel. If you are an AMC stock investor, hit that subscribe button as well as like the video. Or if you're someone just waiting to maybe see when the next time AMC stock could rally, this is the channel for you as well. So AMC stock is currently at $6.69 per share. First thing I want to say is AMC stock is down in the dumps as of right now. You did hit that multi-year low of $6.50 per share. That was on December 13th, right before the Fed meeting. And after that, the markets have done very well. AMC stock did well initially, went up to as high as, $7.30 or so, but has since come back down. Now, we did get some news that we went over in the video that came out earlier today that was pretty exciting. AMC has opened their new line of candies, specific candies in their theaters. I don't think that's a huge needle mover for AMC right now. But if that were to get expanded into other stores, Dollar Generals, Walmarts, things of that nature, that could turn into something that is a real needle mover for AMC. So we will have to wait and see on that one. Maybe that gives us a little bit of a boost to start off the new week. Now, right now, where we are in the markets, what's going on with our markets? It's pretty simple. Right now, we have inflation falling faster than expected. The economy's doing well. The Fed's cutting rates, or about to start cutting rates, as the markets expect 6 times next year. What's there not to like there? I really just don't understand. What is there not to like about that setup? The potential negative, what if we go into a recession next year? Well, sure, that's true, but you can also make the argument that coming off of 9% inflation, CPI numbers, real inflation's like 30%. I mean, is it bad to see a little bit of deflation? Could a little bit of deflation actually kickstart this economy again? Could real estate moving around, people able to sell their homes to buy a new one at a reasonable, monthly, payment, could that kickstart the markets? Right now, people can't afford to move, so they can't afford to sell their home. Even if they have $200,000-$300,000 of equity, they just can't afford to, move and buy a new house in a lot of cases. They don't want to spend all of their money on buying a new home. That's just not in a lot of people's budgets. It's not what a lot of people want to do. So I think a lot of people are waiting to sell their homes until, maybe even spring this upcoming year. Mortgage rates have been falling alongside the 10-year treasury, but just imagine how much money that could open up. By far the largest asset the U.S. Citizen has is their home. Right? If they're able to unlock that equity in their home, something they've really not been able to do for a while, for quite a while, the last 12 months at least, you don't think that kickstarts the economy at all? You don't think if someone sells their home, they're going to spend a little bit more money than they did before? Yeah, okay, that's obviously true. So you can make the same exact argument that the economy could reaccelerate equally, if not more likely, than actually seeing a contraction from here. You could also say that it's very unpolitically motivated to see a recession coming next year. If there is a recession, young B-man is gonna get ousted, right? Young T-man is gonna be right back where he was from 2016 through 2020. So, and I say that because people vote on their pocketbooks, people vote on how the economy is doing, people vote on how their personal finances are doing, and there's only ever been one president that won a re-election if the economy was in a recession, and that was during 1913. So that was a very long time ago. It really has not happened in recent times, literally at all. So I think that's another reason why over the next, coming days, weeks, and months, AMC stock could start to perform a little bit better. Now, we obviously want to get a guarantee from Adam Aron that he's not going to be diluting shareholders. That's one thing that I'm really hoping comes here in the near-term future. The day that is announced on X or wherever it is announced that Adam Aron, let's say, won't dilute shareholders until June of 2024 at the bare minimum, AMC stock probably goes up 10+% that day, and that could kickstart more activity into AMC stock. Now, something else I want to point out is there is a lot of activity around AMC. If you look at stock twits, very simple. The sentiment gauge is very bearish, extremely bearish even. Changes day by day, but very bearish. People are not excited that, on AMC's prospects in and of themselves. But there's a lot of volume, message volume. And I think that is more important because, sentiment changes, but activity, that's important. That's something that you do not want to see go away for AMC stock. Now, in this upcoming week, I know we're going to get new numbers coming out Monday, and these numbers are going to look a lot higher. You do have 4,000 calls currently in the money, 55,000 calls out the money, 15,000 puts in the money, and 22,000 puts that are currently out of the money. So over 2 times as many calls this week for next week. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the options chain now for AMC as well. Take a look at what the setup actually is, where the options actually are on the options chain. And lo and behold, a vast majority of them are right at the money. The $7 call has 11,000 for open interest. That could control about 1.1 million shares of AMC the market makers would have to buy. You got about 13,000 for open interest at the 750 call, which would be about 1.3 million shares market makers would have to buy. At the $8 call, you got about 8,000 for open interest. That would be about 800,000 shares market makers would have to buy as well. And then a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, a couple thousand there. Decent amount of activity really just within the few couple of dollars, from $7 really to $9 per share. There's quite a bit of option activity, and I do think when AMC stock does get rolling, that's going to cause more people to jump into the stock. So definitely something that I am hopefully looking forward to happening in the near term future. Now, if we take a look at the trading economics calendar for Monday, you really don't have much of anything. You do have a 3-month and a 6-month bond auction. On Tuesday, you have inflation data coming out for Canada, 8:30 in the morning. You do have building permits for November coming out at 8:30 in the morning as well on Tuesday. Red Book, housing starts, month over month, year over year, overall net capital flows, couple different things that come out on Tuesday. Nothing that is really important that is going to move the needle at all, for the broader markets. Now, on Wednesday, you are going to get some oil data that will be coming out. That's probably not going to be important as well. Probably not going to get much of a reaction based on anything that comes out on Wednesday. Besides a 20-year bond auction that happens at 1 p.m., the last rate we had was 4.78%. Odds are this is going to come in much lower following last week. And as you can see, 10-year treasury yields have fallen a lot from about 4.24% down to 3.91%. yields have fallen a lot. Don't be surprised if 10, 20-year bonds start to see their yields fall in some of those auctions. Also, on Thursday, you are going to get the first bit of bigger data. That is GDP growth rate, quarter over quarter, final numbers for Q3. You're expecting 5.2. Right now, you want to see the economy holding up. So you do not want to see a bad GDP number here. You want to see a good number. If it comes down a little bit, not going to be a big deal. If it goes higher, that's going to be good news. You're also going to get initial jobless claims as well. Now, my personal expectations, GDP is probably going to come in line with estimates, maybe as low as 5%. Maybe it's a little bit lower than estimates, but it's not going to be off too much. Now, Thursday, you're also going to get a lot of Fed data as well. Philly Fed data, Philly Fed new orders, prices paid, employment, capex, business conditions, GDP sales, corporate profits, core PC prices, real consumer spending, CB leading index, Kansas Fed composite index, Kansas Fed manufacturing index, all kinds of different data that will be coming out Thursday. Now, Friday is really going to be your big data. That's going to be your core PC price index month over month, expected at positive 0.2%. This data, all of this data for Friday comes out at 8:30 in the morning. You're also going to get durable goods orders month over month for November, expecting a positive 2%. Personal income for November expected at 0.4%. Personal spending month over month expected at 0.3%. I actually think personal spending could come in higher than that, maybe 0.4 or 0.5%. Personal income looks like it's probably going to be correct, maybe 0.3%. Maybe it's not going to be as high as thought. Durable goods orders, 2% positive. That sounds reasonable to me. And core PCE could actually come in at 0.1%. That would be 12 months, or that would be 1.2% on an annualized 12-month basis. But 0.2% is 2.4% on a 12-month annualized basis. The trends for the last 3 to 6 months for PCE and for CPI on the headline and the core have both been trending lower pretty dramatically. So I do think we are set up for some good data coming out on Friday, and I think that's going to have a positive effect on the overall markets and for your interest rate sensitive names. So what's actually interesting about this week is, given where the markets are at, we've rallied aggressively. Stocks are definitely stretching some of their valuations. If you're looking at the mega cap names, that could lead to some sideways trading action, maybe some downwards trading action for the broader indexes, but maybe not as much carnage for the small and mid cap stocks. Maybe so, though. Maybe, most stocks just do poorly in the beginning of the trading week. That is definitely possible that does happen. And then the end of the week could be a little bit more exciting. That could be, Friday could be a big day if that data does come out good. So this week, I do think AMC stock can break above $7.50 per share, if especially Friday's a good day. And unfortunately, it might be Friday where you do see that big move. It wouldn't surprise me if Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are pretty good. Wednesday and Thursday just being, slightly good, and then Friday being really good. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Don't be surprised if that does happen. On the downside, that's where things get really troublesome, because if you get some downside here, you could fall back into the $5 range. That would not be good at all. The RSI at 38.96. Definitely on the oversold side. The MACD is actually positive, curling and trending higher. So that is a little bit of good news, you could say here as well. But I think the overall situation is AMC stock is very oversold. It really hasn't participated at all in the latest market rally. I think a commitment to not dilute shareholders from Adam Aron would be seen as very positive news. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope that'll happen. If that does happen, that could open the door for even larger upside back to 10, 11 plus dollars per share. I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but that seems like the most logical thing to do at this point. Adam Aron did something similar in 2022 as well as 2023 also. So let me know what you guys think, what your price prediction is for the end of this week for AMC stock as well. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.